Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As y'all can see by the title of today's video, we're going over the 3 best lockdown builds in NBA 2K21. These are all very different from each other, they all bring something different to the table, so I hope y'all enjoy. If you do, free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff. Let's try this video 1,000 likes in the first 24 hours. And without further ado, we're going to get straight into this. We're going to start from number 1, go to number 3. So for every one of these lockdown builds, I'm going to recommend that you guys make it at the point guard spot. Now that 2K has unlocked the height caps all the way up to 6'8" for point guards, it's pretty much common sense to have these things as you unlock things like floor general and dimer. And whether you're spotting up and carrying floor general or running as a secondary ball handler and have the ability to get dimer, it just makes complete sense to do so. Some of these you won't be able to get playmaking badges on depending on the way you make it. Most of the ones that I'm going to show you guys, you will be able to get playmaking badges. So my number 1 lockdown build of 2K21 is going to be the full-on two-way sharp split where you have half defense, half shooting, in comparison to this chart right here where it's mostly defense, some shooting. And I feel like a lot of people are going to get reeled in by this build right here because it's a new pie chart, but you don't get Hall of Fame shooting badges. Things like ball handling and driving dunk go down quite a bit in comparison to the actual two-way sharp. And just in general, a lot of people are going to get reeled in by the, oh, I don't need Hall of Fame shooting badges to shoot. I understand that. However, this is a new game. We don't know what to expect. So 2 things to keep in mind. Number 1 is going to be the fact that shooting out the gate in any 2K is always going to be hard. You're not going to have all your badges. It's going to be obviously a learning curve of how to shoot the ball, you know, how to time your jump shot, whether it be meter on, meter off. Y'all get the deal. It's always hard to shoot out the gate. Everybody struggles. And then, you know, 6 months down the road or even like 8 months down the road, then builds like Pure Lock start to be able to shoot. Jump shots are found, the best like glitchiest jump shots. Y'all get the deal. Anyway, my point is your room for error is much bigger when it comes to shooting when you have Hall of Fame shooting badges in comparison to a build like this. I feel like, say the lifespan of 2K21 on current gen was going to be, you know, the entire year. Then something like this could work out eventually where you have more defense, you trade that off for less shooting, and you just plan to be a corner spot up. You're going to be a reliable shooter anyway. But if that were said, then why not just go to something like this because you could plan to shoot with this. But anyway, my whole point is this pie chart is very good when it comes to everything to do with it. The one downside is obviously physicals go down a little bit and then defensive ratings do as well. But so here's what I got this build looking like. You're going to have 1, 19, 10, and 21. 10 is going to be enough for quick first step, dimer, floor general, or if you want to swap out dimer or floor general for handles for days, obviously that's going to be pretty important if you're going to be running as a secondary ball handler. But nonetheless, this build is still going to be great for spotting up corner even if you don't plan to be a secondary ball handler. I feel like the 1 finishing badge isn't going to be that big a deal. If you're spotting up as a lockdown or even moving around off ball or even have the ball in your hands, I feel like you're not going to need finishing badges too much. And then especially, like I said, the fact that you're a spot up. You're going to be wanting to play good defense, shoot the ball consistently, and then if you have to catch the ball and do something with it, you'll be able to move pretty decently, especially the fact that you have pretty high speed. So we're gonna go with 6'5" for this one. I feel like the difference between 6'5" and 6'3", not that big. Obviously, you can see you only lose you lose literally 1 speed for 2 inches of height and no vertical. So why not go 6'5"? The only thing you're gaining by going 6'3" is ball handling. I mean, that's literally it. So, and even at that, I feel like 2 ball handling is not worth the 2 inches of height. Now, when you go to 6'6", you start losing things like 3 ball handling, 2 speed, 3 excel, and then your steal rating, lateral quickness. I guess the lateral doesn't go down too much, but anyway, nonetheless, I still feel like 6'5" is going to be the perfect height for a lock build. Minimum weight and max wingspan is going to be the way to go here. You're going to get the max amount of speed and acceleration that you can, as well as the max amount of lateral quickness and perimeter defense that you can. And for whatever reason, I don't understand why, but wingspan is tied into lateral quickness this year. I feel like that should be more of a weight thing, obviously, like a weight and height. But anyway, you max out the wingspan. Obviously, your 3-point rating takes a hit, but that's the purpose of having the Hall of Fame shooting badges. It kind of lets you cope with that a little bit more. Whereas with the defense and shooting pie chart, where it's mostly defense, I feel like you might notice the struggle of the lower 3-point rating a little bit. But even at that, 76 shouldn't be too low. And then you're going to have around 75 driving dunk, which is still pretty solid. Obviously, this build looks pretty well rounded when it comes to offense. You got 75 driving dunk, 76 3-pointer, 74 ball handle. I mean, it's going to be pretty mediocre at everything with the ball in its hand, but I feel like your rate of shooting should be perfectly fine if you're just doing catch and shoot, whether it be from the corner, from the wing, running around off ball and catch and shooting. Should be perfectly fine with 76 3-pointer and Hall of Fame shooting badges. The defense is really nice. 87 lateral quickness and 87 perimeter D is perfectly fine. And then to have 94 steal on a non-pure lock build, or even for that matter a two-way sharp, is pretty nuts. But with all that in mind, I got to show you guys this too. If you go max wingspan, you do not get sharp takeover. If you go down 2 ticks on the wingspan, you do get sharp takeover, and you unlock shot creator too. So if if you really care to have either of these, which I wouldn't recommend shot creator takeover at all, pretty much for this build it should be between lock and sharp takeover, and really I would just recommend to go with lock takeover on the max wingspan. But if you want to be different, like I said, with the two-way sharp, this unlocks a whole different level of running around off ball, shooting from deep wing, and if you want to spot up deep and hope that your 78 three-pointer is good enough to maybe spot up from hash and pro-am or something like that, or like I said, move around off ball with the wraps, sharp takeover would be a pretty solid thing to go with. So anyway, we're gonna go with max wingspan, pick lock takeover, and the title of this build is flat out gonna be perimeter lockdown. It's pretty self-explanatory, pretty simple. So like I said at the beginning of the video, there's gonna be a lot of different varieties of playstyle that we're gonna show in this vid. The number 2 lockdown build, in my opinion, is gonna be the yellow and red pie chart for its versatility, the fact that it can be a good ball handler on 2s. Obviously this build, it's not quite as good as it was last year, because last year it was arguably the best 2K build ever. Like I'm talking like literally the most demigod build ever. It had contact dunks, could speed boost like crazy. Obviously it could shoot lights out because that's just how the game worked, and then obviously it played amazing defense. Anyway, as far as making this build, there's gonna be a couple different ways you can go with it. If you want to go 6'7", I would recommend to make the pure speed pie chart as far as your physical. If you want to go 6'5", I would go speed and vert, because that's when you're max out on speed, vertical, and acceleration. So we're just gonna make the 6'5" version. So the one problem with the playlock pie chart this year and last year is trying to balance the attributes for badges. So you're gonna see with this layout right here, we got 1, 10, 20, and 21. I feel like the tweak that you can make, and I'll just show you guys right here. Obviously, this is not too ideal, but all you lose is 1 badge, or 2 badges. Now, you add it to the finishing and put it on the close shot, you get 8 finishing badges, and obviously close shot's pretty solid to have, helps you with the layups, standing layups especially, but then you lack the block and interior defense rating. But you gain a ton of badges in comparison, and really don't lose too many defensive. I personally hate having my locks with low block, low interior defense, especially if they're going to be pretty solid height. Like, if you're going to go around 6'5" to 6'7", I would recommend definitely put block and interior defense up. I feel like there's just no point in being that tall with no good interior defense. But it's really hard to take anything off the playmaking. For literally just 10 attribute ratings, you lose 5 badges as far as the playmaking stuff goes. Keep on going, you lose 10 for 20. I mean, it's just, I feel like people who take their pass accuracy off on these play locks, it's just not a good move. And on top of that, pass accuracy actually is pretty important if you're going to ISO. It's the speed of your pass as well. It's not just about the accuracy. And it's really, really hard to take anything off shooting and be like viable. Obviously, I already took 1 shooting badge off. You get 11 with this by default. I just feel like you're going to want to take the 1 off. It's about 11 attributes you can take off and still get, you know, like I said, I mean, for 11 attributes on finishing, you get 4 finishing badges. For 11 attributes on defense, I mean, you can't take away anything that's currently on here. I'm going to just put it like that. But anyway, like I said, there's 2 different ways you can go about this. You either go with the finishing aspect. This is for more of the point guards out there that want to be able to play both sides, play solid defense and offense. If you want to take any of this stuff off right here and go with the no close shot and add it to block and put a little bit on interior defense, then this is what you're looking like. So whatever your preference is with this build, I would go into the height and weight expecting that you're going to go max wingspan, because you're going to want the max for the driving dunk, the defensive ability, stuff like that. So if you're concerned about the ball handling at 6'7", especially if you're going to go ahead and do the max wingspan, it's probably not your style of play. The 6'7" is pushing it. I mean, this is literally the play glass from last year as far as, like, you know, what you should expect from it. It's not going to be very fast with the ball in its hand. You're going to have good stick to be able to move quick with it, and you're definitely going to struggle to shoot. I mean, to go max wingspan on the 6'7" is going to be around 60 3-pointer. It's just not very good. And then you're pushing it for the contact dunks too. At 6'5", you're looking good. You got 85 ball handling, and it's just really tough to figure out the perfect way to make this play lock pie chart anymore this year. If you go with the minimum weight, like I said, if you're gonna go with the 6'5", go with the speed and vert pie chart. You're looking perfect as far as the physicals. I mean, with the 99 performance boost plus Gatorade, you're looking at 99 speed, 99 XL, and around like 97 vertical, 96 vertical, something like that. So with the max wingspan, 84 ball control, 64 3-pointer, 81 driving dunk. You're going to be able to get contact dunks at 99 overall. You're still going to be able to shoot most likely. I can't guarantee that. I cannot guarantee that y'all are going to be able to shoot with 64 3-pointer. It's obviously going to take some stick. And on top of that, Mike Wang has said it himself that there's going to be hot fixes if people with builds like this are shooting lights out. Now, you're still going to be consistently average. I could promise you that, as long as you're able to time your meter and stuff like that too. But I wouldn't go into this expecting to go lights out with the play lock this year, especially with the learning curve of the fact that we only have a 3-month-long game on top of that. But anyway, same with this. As far as like this and the two-way sharp, the steal is really good. You really don't have that much higher lateral quickness and perimeter defense in comparison to the two-way sharp. It might even be literally the exact same thing, and same goes for the block and defensive rebound. But This versus the two-way sharp, this is definitely a more viable ball handler. It's just the two-way sharp is built to be a secondary ball handler and be way more reliable when it comes to shooting. So as for the takeovers, if you're going to be the dominant ball handler on your team, and if you want to run a lot of twos, I would recommend go with the slash takeover. If you want to play threes and be a spot up and just play good defense, obviously the lock takeover is the way to go. And the lock takeover is a very good all-purpose takeover. It works well in pro-am, twos, threes. You can't go wrong with it. I mean, flat out, being better at defense is always going to be welcomed for any team. And slashing is not always welcomed by, any teammate or partner. So anyway, let's go with the lock takeover for this one. Like I said, understand this isn't the perfect lockdown defender build as far as what results in this two-way playmaker title. I ended up going with the finishing upgrades where you get the 8 finishing badges and around, I think 20 defensive badges or something like that, 19, whatever it was. But if you want to make a true lock build, like I said, I would definitely go with the full defense aspect where it's just driving layup and driving dunk. I take away the close shot, add it to block, and add it to interior defense. I'm not sure what the title of that one is, but this one right here is two-way playmaker. So for my third and final one, we got the pure lock. But real quick, I want to talk about this new pie chart before we end the video right after I'm done with the pure lock. This new pie chart, I do think it's going to be solid. I think it'll be something that you can lean on as far as being a solid corner spot up. But I just don't think it brings much to the table, to be completely honest with y'all. I feel like there's really no point in making this, to be completely honest with you. But like I said, a lot of the hype beasts, they're around this build where it's like, oh, I want to hop on this new, the new wave pretty much. I just don't think it's going to be very reliable. I don't even think it really sets you up to be a very good finisher or, a very good ball handler of any sort. And yeah, it brings a little bit more defense to the table, but is it really that much noticeable? So example, I was going to say pause the video, but I'm just going to talk you guys through this. So you're going to look at everything as far as steal, lateral quickness, perimeter defense, every defensive attribute in comparison to the two-way sharp. And then keep in mind the ball handling, three-pointer, the driving dunk. The three-pointer literally goes up by 2, right? So that's not even that big a deal. But the ball handling goes up by 3. You're going to see it's literally 77 ball handling in comparison to 74. You're going to see a three-pointer is 80 instead of 78. The driving dunk, for whatever reason, this two-way sharp has 3 more driving dunk. I don't know why. It might be glitched too. So for all you know, these aren't even accurate attributes as far as anything goes. But just as far as like what this build is better at as far as defense, you literally gain, I think, 2 lateral quickness and perimeter defense. You gain 2 steal. You gain literally 1 block on top of that. And then the defensive rebound isn't even higher. So personally, I feel like this is just heading above, just far above better than this this chart right here. And if you were somebody who wants to make this chart right here, I feel like you're somebody who's literally just looking for this build but doesn't want to be basic. That's how I feel. I'm not gonna add this build to my top 3 because I just feel like flat out there's no purpose to it. Literally this two-way sharp chart is just better at everything except for a little bit of defensive attributes and maybe a couple ticks of speed and physicals. But even at 6'5" for this build right here, it still has 99 speed. So what's to even debate? Anyway, my number 3 build, and there is a reason this is number 3 instead of number 1 or 2, is gonna be the pure lock. So I'm gonna recommend go with pure speed on this one. If you want to go 6'5" or 6'6", go with the speed and vert. But I'm gonna show you guys how to make it at 6'7". And let's just say it's very complicated as to figure out how to make this build if you want to shoot. So I'm gonna fast forward to having the shooting upgraded on this. Alright, yo, so realistically, I think this is the best thing I can come up with as far as balancing the badges properly, and this is for if you want to be able to shoot the ball. Now, if you don't care about playmaking at all, this is a pretty easy build to make. I mean, flat out, if you're going to be a corner spot up, you can just max out the defense entirely, say, I don't even need pass accuracy and ball handling or anything like that, or a quick first step, then who cares? I mean, you can literally just do this right here, and it's as easy as that. You can just get pretty much around 11 finishing, 5 shooting, and 30 defense with max everything. I still don't think if you're a corner spot up you need any offensive rebound, however, because if you're spotting up in the corner and you're shooting the ball, I don't really think you need it. If you're somebody who runs with rim sharps and you rely on your corner spot up to crash offensive rebounds, then that's a different story. I feel like you're probably just going to want to take off, something with the finishing and probably ball handling as much as you need to get the O board. Anyway, my thing with this build, I feel like it's best built with no shooting, so we're going to go ahead and cut to that. So this right here is likely the build that I'm going to make in 2K21. I'm going to make this pure lock point guard pie chart right here, have the 9 playmaking to have dimer, floor general, and quick first step, play as a screen setter on offense, but then guard ball on defense, or I could guard bigs if I want to, depending on the versatility of my teammate. Anyway, this is going to be a defensive nightmare. I'm talking, it's perfect. And then for running as an inside big man, you're obviously going to want offensive rebound upgraded because you have nowhere to go except for toward the hoop. So there's no spacing involved. You're just going to crash offensive rebound every single time a shot goes up pretty much. So You get great finishing with this, 15 finishing, 9 playmaking, 30 defense, like I said, the dimer, floor general, quick first step. As a slasher even, it's not even that bad as far as like you get really good driving dunk ability. I'm going to recommend to go 6'7". It's not really minimum weight. I think it's like right here. You get the strength upgrade and interior defense upgrade. So 188 for the weight. And then for the wingspan, just max. I mean, there's literally no reason to not go max with this. So what you're getting with this build, you get 70 ball control when you reach 98 overall, I think. And then you're going to have contact dunks like crazy. I mean, you can see the driving dunk is amazing. Standing dunk is even more amazing. I don't know how, at 6'7". But then your defense is out of this world. I'm talking like literally 95 steal, 93 lateral quickness, 93 perimeter defense. All at 6'7". That's like ridiculous. Pure Lock's defense are amazing this year. And I feel like the reason for that is because it's going to be very hard for them to shoot from the corner. So I would just go into this assuming that you're not going to be able to shoot very consistently. And if you want to make a pure lock, I think it'd be best ran as a screen setter on offense. Now, this fits my play style tremendously. I'm so excited to play 2K21 with this build right here because flat out, I'm a great screen setter, obviously, like as a pick and roll man. For those who watch my 2K20 videos, y'all know, like the IQ is there. There's really nothing to debate. So as an inside big man and to have 70 ball control, that's a huge perk as well. But great dunking ability. Obviously, you have the ball handling, great defense, plays terrific perimeter defense, and I can't wait to try to guard ball with this as well as setting screens on offense. The one thing I do worry about, just to warn everybody, is obviously the strength when it comes to setting screens. I'm not sure if that matters yet or not. And really, if you want to play as like a true quote-unquote big, right? You don't care about the ball handling. I feel like 6'8", we're just going to go minimum weight just for the, the sake of just doing this quickly. But 6'8" is going to be pretty nasty for being a big man. You gain way more block, O-board and D-board and all that stuff too. It's just, for me, I value the speed, excel, vertical, perimeter defense, lateral quickness a lot more, and the ball handling on top of that too. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and finalize this 6'7" one right here. I'm pretty sure it just says two-way finisher. I'll go ahead and just confirm that. And then the two takeover options you have are lock and slasher. I'm just going to go with lock. Like I said, that's probably what I'm going to go for my build as well. I don't know for the content though. I feel like slash might be the move. Anyway, that's all for the video. Two-way finisher is the title. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties. Good stuff. Let's try this video 1,000 likes in the first 24 hours. Put A or B in the comments to show which takeover you think I should put for my build. A for slasher, B for lock. I'm likely going to go with lock, to be completely honest with y'all, but if a lot of you guys really want to see that slash takeover on this build, I will go with it. It's not going to be something that I want to do because I feel like for comp reasons and like stage 3s and whatnot, lock is obviously going to be the move, but for the sake of content, I don't know, man, that slash would be so nice. Anyway, that's all for the video. Like I said, put A or B in the comments to show your support to me all the way through. Other than that, I hope y'all enjoyed. Take it easy, man. Peace.